Good evening, and welcome to Training Talk right here on Personal Defense Network. I'm Grant Cunningham, and this is the show where we talk about you. Yes, about you, about your life, and how to protect it. In the next hour, we're going to explore how you can prepare and equip yourself to face that worst case scenario and to keep you and your loved ones safe. Now, we don't do religion or politics on this show, and I can hear the cheering in the background already. That's right, we don't do politics on this show. And you're not going to hear crazy conspiracy theories or macho Rambo talk. Just reliable, responsible information about how you can keep yourself safe. And, if you like reasonable and responsible, would you do us a favor and share this show with your friends and your family, your coworkers, all the people that you know on social media? The strange thing is it's really hard today to sell reasonable and responsible. There's a lot of people out there running around, yelling, screaming, all kinds of crazy stuff. And sometimes those of us who talk responsibly get kind of shuffled to the background. But if you're listening to this show, I know that you're into what we're talking about and how we approach it. And I'm sure the people that you know are probably the same. So go ahead, share this with your friends, your family, your relatives, your coworkers. We certainly appreciate it, and I'm sure they would too. So welcome back. If you're a regular viewer here on Training Talk, thank you for checking in with us tonight. Or if you're watching if you couldn't make it for the live show, you're watching the recording, thank you for taking the time to watch our recording too. And to everybody who's new, welcome. And we hope you like what we do here. And again, thank you for taking the time out of your schedule. Because when I teach a class, at the end of a class, one of the things that's really important to me is if the class was worth my students' time. I don't really care about the money part of it, because money is transient. You can always earn more money, but you can't earn more time. And it's important to me that I respect my students' time. And so I always ask them if the class was worth their time. And the same thing with you. I hope that this is worth your time, and I'm honored that you take the time out of your busy schedule to be here tonight. I don't have kids, and even without kids, my schedule is full. I can't imagine those of you who have, especially teenagers, running around the house. So I do appreciate you taking the time out of your life to learn more about how to protect that life. And I pledge that I will do my best to honor your investment of time. So, been an interesting few weeks, hasn't it? We've had tornadoes in Florida and storms all over the place. Winter is here, ladies and gentlemen, and it came early here in the state of Oregon. And I hope that wherever you are, that you're warm and dry and safe. So tonight we've got a great show set aside for you. We've got a couple of guest experts on tonight. We've got Tyler Grant from Dynamic Training Strategies. We've got Julie Loeffler from Mid-Ohio IMB. And we're going to be talking about some great stuff. We're going to be talking about defensive fitness. We're going to be talking about getting started in self-defense and all that kind of thing. But before we get to that, I have a couple of things that I want to rant about. And I'm going to try that. There we go. Yes, Grant's rant right here. All right. We spare no expense here at Personal Defense Network on special effects. I want you to know this. So there are a couple of things I want to talk about tonight. And the first one is, as I said, winter weather's here, lots of crazy stuff going on. And here in Oregon, we had a major windstorm, rainstorm that hit last weekend. It was really the remains of a typhoon that hit over in Japan and crossed the Pacific and got here to us. And it didn't turn out to be as bad as we were worried it was, but it was still bad enough. We had a water spout that turned into a tornado and hit one of our smaller coastal towns here, did quite a bit of damage. But we had a couple of days notice that this stuff was all going to happen. And the day before the storm hit, I was out running errands, and my wife asked me to pick up something at the grocery store. I think it was salad dressing, because we were out of a particular salad dressing. So I said, sure, I would. And so I go into the supermarket. It's a big chain grocery store, and holy cow, The place was packed. They had every check stand going. The self-checkout things were going, lines down the aisles to get to the check stands, and 15, 20 people deep. It was incredible. And so I was walking up and down the aisles and seeing what people were buying, and I noticed that the bread aisle looked like a windstorm had gone through it. The bottled water aisle was essentially empty. People were buying up batteries and milk, bottled water, and beer. Apparently, if there's something happening, you need milk, bread, bottled water, batteries, and beer. All right, those 5 things. Apparently, you have to have those. So people were buying all this stuff up and sort of panicking and getting ready for the storm. And it annoyed me a little bit, because these are things that you should have normally. You shouldn't have to go to the store and stock up just because a storm happened. And I know across the country, if you've been in a situation where something like a winter storm is coming, you've probably seen the same thing happen. And as I've said before on the show, self-defense is more than just shooting bad guys. Self-defense is keeping yourself safe from storm and keeping yourself fed from storms and all that kind of thing. I heard, for instance, that the hardware stores had sold out of generators ahead of time. And I want to propose this to you. If you have a safe full of guns, or 2 or 3 safes full of guns, and I know people that have multiple safes full of guns. If you have a safe full of guns, go out, sell a gun, buy the generator that you need, buy the gasoline, store the gasoline, store it properly so that you have it ready to go, instead of having to go out and get this stuff when a storm's approaching. Buy a freezer, get some food in the freezer, do this sort of thing. If you've got lots of guns and lots of ammo, but you don't have a back stock of food, and you don't have the spare batteries you need and all that kind of thing, sell a gun and get it. Because like I said, self-defense is more than just shooting bad guys. Enough of that. That's rant number 1. Rant number 2. You've probably seen the whole thing about scary clowns around the country, right? Lots of talk about scary clowns, people dressing up in movie clown makeup and going out and frightening people. And we had a situation, and there have been now several situations where clowns have been confronted by people with guns. We had a situation where this clown was riding around the back of a car and stopping and scaring people. And he stopped and scared a woman who was sitting on her porch, and she pulled a gun. All right. Scary clowns are nothing more than bad makeup, folks. You don't get to pull your gun on bad makeup. And as always, if you are going to use your gun as a self-defense tool, you have to have an articulable fear. And just because something looks scary doesn't mean that there is a threat to your life. Now, of course, sooner or later, somebody's going to use the clown get up. It's going to become common, and somebody will commit some sort of a crime. But by and large, let's face it, if somebody's going to commit a crime, they're not going to dress up in something that's very visible and attracts a lot of attention, and also alert you ahead of time that something bad is going to happen. That only happens in the movies. So calm down about the scary clowns. Take a breath. It's just makeup. It's just theatrics. And sooner or later, this whole thing will blow away. And I hope that it blows over before somebody actually gets shot and hurt over what is essentially nothing. So that's my rant for that. Scary clowns and storm preparation. That's my rants for right now. So, you notice how that switches back? Like I said, top quality special effects here on Personal Defense Network. I want to take just a moment here before my first guest tonight and talk just a little bit about the Personal Defense Network newsletter. You know, we have a great newsletter here at Personal Defense Network. Hundreds of thousands of people. That's huge, folks. Hundreds of thousands of people. That's my only political joke tonight, I promise. But seriously, hundreds of thousands of people subscribe to the Personal Defense Network newsletter, and they get information in their mailbox every week. And I rely on the Personal Defense Network news, excuse me, newsletter. I made that joke, and now I'm kind of choking because it was so funny. But I rely on the Personal Defense Network newsletter to keep me up to date on what's happening at Personal Defense Network, all the new articles, new videos, all that kind of thing. And you can sign up, get this in your mailbox. It's free, absolutely free every week and learn all the new stuff that's happening at Personal Defense Network. Be alerted about things that have been on Personal Defense Network maybe for a while that you didn't know about. Get advance notice about when this show airs, when Rob Pincus's live shows air every month. It's a great resource. There's a link on the show page here. Just click on that link, sign up for the free monthly newsletter, and get it right in your mailbox every week. It's a wonderful resource. And like I said, you'll join hundreds of thousands of other people that are getting this great information too. So, Personal Defense Network free newsletter. I'm going to take a drink here. Whoops. And of course, I got it all over me. Out of my, those of you who haven't seen it, the official original Tactical Hippie water bottle, courtesy of Joshua Getting It, No Soft Targets. All right. Tonight, we're going to start with talking with Tyler Grant from, excuse me, Tyler Grant from Dynamic Training Strategies. Now, Tyler is our defensive fitness expert. He does this for a living. He does a lot of coaching of people to get them into good shape, work on their fitness, their health, and all that kind of thing. And when it comes to defensive fitness, he's probably the best guy I know to talk to. And so tonight, we're going to talk a little more about that. Hey, Tyler, how you doing?
Good, Grant. How about yourself?
I am great. Thank you. And the last time I was telling Tyler before we started, the last time he was on, we talked about eating healthier, and I took his advice to heart and started eating healthy. And in the last month and a half, I think since he's been on, I've managed to drop 12 pounds just by changing my eating habits. That's all I did. So thank you for that. So tonight, what I wanted to talk about is about, well, setting yourself up for success, and learning how to approach getting into better defensive shape and being patient. So I guess I'll start by asking you, how do you even start a lifestyle change for defensive fitness? No matter where you are, how do you get started?
Grant, is a great question. So it all depends on where you're at in your fitness. Are you someone that's been stagnant for years and getting into it the first time in 10 years, or are you kind of on and off, or are you in somewhat good shape or do some type of fitness and want to get to a little bit higher level? So it's a little different settings, or different levels that we can look at. But generally, what we need to do is a lifestyle change. So I'm going to start at the extreme end, where someone is extremely overweight and they don't do anything for fitness at all. It all starts out with diet. And Grant, we had a good conversation last time, so definitely check out that video. I'm not going to cover all that stuff again, but there are things I'll be going in and out of from what we covered last time. Look at what we eat and drink normally in the day. So soft drinks are very popular right now. Energy drinks are very popular right now, or they've been around for a while. But if you're a person that drinks a lot of those, let's say 10 a day, make a round even number. Let's try to cut that down to 5 a day. Try to do small changes where instead of that one drink, or in between those drinks, we'll have a glass of water. So just basically just trying to cut down on the bad stuff we put in our bodies. I don't think anyone will agree with me saying those are healthy drinks. There are healthier alternatives, but I don't think anything beats water, or a natural drink that has electrolytes in it to kind of get our pH balance back in their level or even. So now let's look at your snacks. So if you eat bags of potato chips or trail mix or things of that nature, pick something healthier in there. It's okay to have some deli meat and some a couple nuts and things of that nature. So you get your fats, you get your carbohydrates, you get your protein in a snack. So that's the one thing that we want to do. We want to balance ourselves to be able to eat healthier. And mainly what this does is setting up a goal, taking a goal and writing it down. this is what I want to do. So basically, it's what we did in the military is state an end goal, then we reverse plan from there. And that's been really successful for me for things that I want to accomplish. I want to be able to run 1 mile without stopping, something like that for example. Well, that's my main goal. Well, before then, I probably need to eat healthier and hydrate more so I can do that without stopping, lose weight so running is less impact on my body. So mainly it's just starting out with giving yourself permission to do what you break your normal behaviors, not letting yourself eat and drink all the bad things, but not just go cold turkey, but break it up a little bit. Like I said earlier, if you drink 10 sodas a day, cut it down to 7 or 5, something in that nature, whatever it is, less, and just incrementally go down from there. Then honestly, just plan out your meals, plan out your snacks, not to like, I'm going to eat at 10:51 a.m. for a snack. Just, hey, I eat breakfast generally around this time. Between breakfast and lunch, I'm going to have myself a small snack, and I'm going to try to make it healthy. Healthier, and healthy is subjective depending on who you're talking to. If you normally eat a slice of cake for a snack, if you eat a half a sandwich, hey, it's healthier. Do that. Then from there, you'll be able to make bigger changes, and it's not a shock to your body. Because if you immediately try to shock your body of trying to change everything all at once, you're going to reject it. You're not going to stick with it, and you're going to abandon it.
Okay, so you're a fan of sort of planning this out, right? So you're planning out what you want to do, and so we're talking about planning out basically lifestyle changes, changing how you eat and that kind of thing. This planning goes for, like, can you plan your, say, increase in physical activity in the same way?
Oh yeah, and you definitely can. And I'm not big on planning to the micro level. I'm a more concept type of planning. Well, you want to work out? Hey, you know what? I want to start out maybe 2 to 3 times a week. I think that's a very reasonable thing to do. And if you go somewhere and it's like, hey, between this hour and this hour of this day, I'm gonna allow myself to work out. And if there's a fitness class, it's a specific time, you can't make it, don't worry about it. Just go to the gym, do some regular stuff, and again, go back to that first video to learn more about what I truly recommend. But just when people try to plan things out in a way where they try to do everything down to the minute, they get stressed out. When people get stressed out, they go back to their comfort with comforting food, bad habits, drinking soda, or whatever their crutch is. They go back to that, and it's counterproductive with the ultimate goal. So we got to plan, but do it in a way where we don't extremely stress ourselves out.
Now, you in your coaching work, you probably see a lot of different people. Is there ever a situation, or what situation do you tell people, listen, maybe you should go see a doctor before you really start any great physical activity? Do you run into that, and what do you tell them?
Generally, any gym you go to, there is, when you sign the waiver, somewhere deep down in there is something stating to the effect of, you need to go see your doctor. All risks are upon you. You're an adult. You make your own decisions, which we are an adults. I get that. But generally, I tell people, when I meet someone new in the gym for the first time, even if they've been there for a week or 2 weeks with my schedule, depending where I'm at, I'll ask them questions like, hey, why are you doing this? How long have you been doing the fitness? Okay. Do you have any health issues? Nothing super in depth. Main thing I want to know about allergic reactions, they need EpiPen or inhaler, so they have those things handy with them. But mainly is like, do they have chronic health issues? And if they do, I don't wash my hands of them, but I'm going to say, hey, that's outside of my scope. I can tell you things generally, what I can tell people that should help, but ultimately you need to see your doctor, and hopefully, if you can, see a dietitian to help plan things out. Because one thing I've learned And there's a guy named Nick Diaz at CrossFit Argonaut that I have a lot of discussions with him on nutrition. I've learned a bunch from him because he was significantly overweight at one point, and he's done a lot of research. Generally, people who are generally overweight, they can't have control of what they eat because it's a bigger deal for them. So he went through the nutrition round and with the fitness, and oh man, I couldn't tell you, he probably lost well over 100 pounds. And dude's a specimen now. Like dude's a stud. But yeah, in good conscience, I don't think any trainer would tell you, yeah, you don't need to go see a doctor. You should go see a doctor once a year just for a daily checkup anyway. But that should not be the only thing that you're going off of cholesterol levels and all the other tests that they do in there. Definitely, the cardiac test where they do a EKG on you. Definitely a pro of that, but definitely go do that. But that can't be the only thing that you go off on fitness, because doctors are really good at treating short-term things like broken arms, broken legs. But when it comes to chronic things like diabetes and heart disease, things like that, they give pills. I'm not saying that prescription pills are bad. If you need them, take them, but that should not be the only thing that you do. And Greg Glassman, the founder of CrossFit, he states fitness is medicine. I couldn't agree more, because I know when I came back from Iraq, I had a lot of stomach issues, basically just stomach problems in general, health problems in general, and living an unhealthy lifestyle. As soon as I got back in fitness, all that kind of went away. Blood pressure went down, and my stomach issues completely vanished. So fitness will help. Modern medicine will help, but we need to be able to work together with those to find the best solution for chronic issues that we're facing today.
So tell me, and be honest here, is any of this going to be easy?
No. All right.
Oh, no.
Right. I mean, there is no magic pill. There is no easy diet you can follow. There's pictures you've seen online where people say, I've lost 10 pounds in a week and I feel amazingly awesome. That's not really a thing. Nothing replaces hard work. And this what I'm about to tell you can apply to anything. Nothing replaces hard work. It's gonna hurt. At some point, you're gonna hate it. Overall, the ultimate goal is well worth it, because it's your life. And the thing is, it's not necessarily your life right now. You got to look at the bigger picture. You want to see how well you can live later on when you're older, because there's research out there showing that when you lose the ability for your leg, when you get older, when you lose the ability to walk regularly, your mortality rate goes way up, because you're not dependent on yourself anymore. You can't sustain. Getting tongue-tied. You can't support yourself, and you always need someone there helping you. So if we can make sure right now that we can be able to walk and be able to squat, be able to pick things up off the ground and just be mobile, that's the win. But you need to start now and not try to fix it later on when you're older, when you have mobility problems. That's basically flexibility in the joint, flexibility problems where basically your muscles be able to stretch, and just general strength where you can move, you can pick things up, like I was saying before, and I keep saying it, be able to live life. In society today, we don't move like humans anymore, because we sit down. Right now, we're sitting down. We lay down, we go to sleep, we wake up, we sit down for breakfast, we go to our cars, we sit and drive to work, we go to our office, we sit at a computer and do stuff on it, we get up, and all that in reverse. So now we have to make fake work up for us to do to remain healthy and not become super overweight. That's where we are in society. We have to make up fake work for us to do to stay in shape.
All right. So this is, we talked about, and I said this a little earlier, that self-defense is not just shooting bad guys. It's also, when we look at this stuff long term, ideally we would like to get into physical fitness to be able to deal with an attacker, but that same physical fitness helps us deal with a lot of other stuff too, doesn't it?
Well, mainly it protects us from ourselves. And I say that, and hopefully I won't get in trouble, but one of the biggest enemies is ourselves. And if we don't put ourselves in check, if we eat poor, and not work out, depending on your genetics and the amount of what you do of that with your calorie intake, there's a high likelihood you'll get diabetes, there's a high likelihood you get a heart disease, there's a higher likelihood you'll get cancer. Studies are coming out and showing that if you don't want that, eat a little better, work out a little bit.
Defend yourself, essentially.
Defend yourself against yourself.
I like that. Defend yourself from yourself. I'm going to use that.
Hashtag.
Yeah. In fact, yeah, that's going to get used. So, Tyler, tell everybody how people can get in touch with you and find out what you do and where you're and all that kind of stuff.
Right now I'm in Northwest Arkansas. I do many of the things. I coach CrossFit. I coach Olympic weightlifting. KratosBarbell.com is a weightlifting gig. I coach at CrossFit Argonaut. DynamicTrainingStrategies.com. DynamicTrainingStrategies@gmail.com. I do defensive pistol rifle classes. Do a little bit of military and law enforcement consulting, and we're getting now into medical classes. So check us out on our website. If someone can help me with that, I will trade a class to make my website more streamlined. So that's basically all the places you can find me.
Cool. Great. Tyler, thanks for being on again, and we'll see you again here on another guest expert segment, okay?
Sounds good.
All right, man. See you later.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, great. So got some more stuff to do. The little bit here and there, eat a little better, get a little more activity, and then next time we'll talk about going up to the next level, amping that all up a little bit, and working on a little more of the physical fitness part of it. So good information, and like I said, changing my eating habits. It's a lot easier to move now. It's a lot easier to walk than it was just 12 pounds ago. It's amazing how much that makes a difference. So I want to talk just a moment before we have our next segment. And I want to talk a little bit about premium membership here at Personal Defense Network. Now, I hope that you sign up for the free Personal Defense Network newsletter that I talked about. It's a great resource. And like I said, you'll be joining hundreds of thousands of other people. But we also have a membership side here at Personal Defense Network. And Personal Defense Network premium membership gets you access to the membership side of the site. And on the membership side, you're going to find all kinds of great resources, extended videos, DVD length videos, courses, all kinds of stuff that you don't see on the public side here at Personal Defense Network. And there's just a ton of stuff there. And I've said this before, I've been a network premium member since it was started, and I haven't seen everything that's on the previous premium side yet. There's just so much great information, and a lot of great information from a lot of tremendous guest instructors here at Personal Defense Network. A lot of names that you'll recognize from the defensive shooting world, the martial arts world, all kinds of great long form videos, instructional videos, video collections. This is one of the really cool things, is that there are video collections there, groups of videos that address very specific topics. So if you want to learn everything you can about a specific part of personal defense, you can get that through the exclusive video collections on the premium side of the site. Now, becoming a member is easy. All you have to do is click on one of the become a member dialog boxes that are all over the site here at Personal Defense Network, and there's a deal. Now, normally premium membership is, I think, $34.95 a year, something like that, but I can get you a deal. If you use the code GRANT10, that's GRANT, the number 1, the number 0, all one word. When you check out, there will be a little box there for like a coupon code or discount code. Just put in the code GRANT10, GRANT, the number 1, the number 0, all one word. Put that in, and you'll get your first year of premium membership here at Personal Defense Network for only $10. $10. That's not for the first month. That's for the first year. So $10 is all it's going to cost you for that first year. You can get in, look at all the great stuff that's on the premium side here at Personal Defense Network. all the learning opportunities, all of the long form videos, all the DVD length videos. And believe me, you will want to renew your subscription year after year because there's a lot of great stuff there and new stuff coming out all the time. Premium membership here at Personal Defense Network for only $10 for your first year. Grant10 is the code, GRANT, the number 1, the number 0, all one word, Grant10. Just put that in at the checkout box and you'll get that deal for your first year for $10. It's just absolutely phenomenal deal. So sign up and give it a shot. I think you'll love it. I love it. And everybody that I know that has tried it out is people tell me, hey, Grant, I love premium membership at Personal Defense Network because it really is that good. So your first year for $10, don't forget that code Grant10. So our next guest expert tonight is someone who, like Tyler, has been on the show before. You've seen her, you know her, you love her. Julie Loeffler from Mid-Ohio IMB. Julie, are you there? Julie,
I am here.
All right.
Yep. Hi.
So how are you tonight?
Hey, I'm pretty good. How about you?
I'm doing fine. I'm having a little trouble. I've got something in my throat that I'm trying to get rid of. It's like, I don't know, I swallowed a bug or something. I don't know what's going on here.
Well, to be quite honest, it's Thursday night and I'm freaking tired. I'm tired. It's been a long week, you know?
I know the feeling, and here in about 3 weeks, hopefully it stops being long weeks. And we won't go any further there. So tonight, the reason that I asked Julie to come back on tonight is so we can talk about, well, getting started in the world of, gosh, how do I put it? In getting started in taking responsibility for your own safety and your own well-being. And I wanted to talk with her about the psychological and emotional aspects of that. And that's something she knows a lot about. So you ready to talk about that?
Let's go.
All right. All right. So I think the first thing is, and this is similar to what Tyler was talking about in the whole defensive fitness thing, is that it can be really overwhelming. So somebody somebody decides, well, gosh, I need to take responsibility for my own safety. I want to be able to protect myself. I want to be able to protect my loved ones, my kids. I'm new to this. They come here to Personal Defense Network. Well, we hope they come to Personal Defense Network because there's a lot of great information here, but there's a lot of information, good and bad, all over the internet. So it's overwhelming. And especially for somebody who's brand new to it, it can be incredibly overwhelming. So tell us, how does somebody know where to start? What do they do?
Well, let's start real quick by defining the group that we're talking about, because this show and the Personal Defense Network generates a lot of different people in the personal defense world. We've got the beginners. We've got the people who are just curious about it and trying to figure this all out. Then we've got the people who've been there for a while. Then we've got, people who are pretty seasoned in the world of personal defense. So this conversation is really, like you said, geared towards the curious ones, the beginners, the ones who have already recognized the fact that they need to do something, and now they've got the iPad up, they're checking out the TV, and they're at the Google page, and they're like, okay, great. Now what do I do? What do I Google? Where do I go? If they've heard from us or from someone else, if they've heard about the Personal Defense Network, they'll go to the Personal Defense Network. And even you said you haven't seen everything on the Personal Defense Network. There's so much stuff. It's daunting. And that's one of the best ones out there, if not the best. So when you're getting into this, I would say kind of check yourself and realize there's far too much to make a list and say, I'm going to tackle all of this and give yourself a deadline of like a week. That's just silly. That's nonsense, right? Prioritize. We're all used to prioritizing. We all do it in everyday life, in every aspect of our life. So why is this any different? Find out what your immediate needs are first. If you are concerned about your family, if you're concerned about things that you have, safety at home issues, if you are a single mom and you're concerned about taking your kids to and from a place safely, working out on the public park tracks, those types of things. There are multiple ways you can do that, excuse me, and there are multiple things that you can look up to begin. So what I would say is kind of take a look at your life and find out what you're interested in learning about first. Is it your personal safety? Is it your home safety? Is it something else? And then once you do that, just kind of go and Google that, or go to the Personal Defense Network and in the search function, look at that. Then move on to, okay, now I know what I can do. Personal defense tools or items can I use to do that? Is it going to be my own body? Is it going to be a flashlight, a knife, a firearm? Then there's all kinds of other things to research, and then you have to prioritize those. So I think without getting overwhelmed and making this conversation too big, start with, after you recognize to learn about personal defense, prioritize what's important to you first, and then take a stab at that. If you don't know what you're doing, if you're not sure, I can tell you, I had, you know how people talk about the meat sweats, and you get the meat sweats, and you get a little feeling. Well, I was apprehensive, and I would get the apprehensive sweats when I first started in the personal defense world, and I'm like, holy crap, I have to decide from all this stuff, first of all, what's good and what's not. And I thought I had some pretty good help to begin with. Can you imagine if somebody didn't have people surrounding them like me? I had my husband, who's been in the military for 23 plus years. He already had, whoop,
Uh-oh.
Can you see me?
No,
Can
I
you
can't.
see me?
I can still
Can
hear
you see
you.
me now?
There we go.
Can you see me now?
Yes, I can
Okay,
see
good.
now. This is live, folks. This is what happens when you do a live show.
Yep. So here we are. And, that if nobody has any type of support group with friends or relatives that have any background in this, it's going to be even more confusing and maybe more apprehensive for them. And they might have a little more anxiety when they do this. And I got to tell you, the more uncomfortable you make yourself when you're learning, the more you're going to grow, the more confident you're going to be, and the more you're going to fall in love with the art of learning. And that you can translate into any aspect of your life, but especially personal defense. You have to be willing to take that first step.
So I've got a question for you. What do you tell that person who is new to the whole world of self-defense and personal security, and they come to you because you teach not only martial arts but also firearms, and they come to you and they say, I want to start in personal defense. Should I get a gun? Right? Is that the first thing they should do? What do you tell those people who sort of assume that the first thing they need to do is to buy the gun and learn to shoot?
Well, most people don't start there that I talk to.
Wow.
It's a different world. I mean, my focus in my business is business professionals, moms who may or may not work, college teens. And so they have other issues in their life. Yeah, sure, guns are in the forefront of the conversation, especially in the news. So yeah, it comes up in conversation, but the first thing they're talking about is, hey, I need something to keep my kids safe, or hey, I need something, that I can use every day. I'm going in and out of places that I can't take a gun. What the heck can I do? So, as much as you and I think, maybe the first part of the conversation is gun, for the majority of the people out there, it's not. It's not. And that's why at Mid-Ohio IMB, we have all options. Gun is not, and even you've said it, and there've been live chats and articles written about when the gun is not an appropriate option. So, for people to think that that's the only thing that they have is, well, it's incorrect. But it's also, if they choose to start to talk there, then that's another topic. But the majority of the people that I talk to, or that email me, or that come to take a 2 or 4 hour seminar from me about personal defense, a gun is something that is still maybe not on their radar.
Wow. I'd like to get your perspective on this because I'm not any longer in the world where this is actually a concern. But you talked about the people that are coming to you and looking for that self-defense information, and they're in a situation where they can't carry a gun. Based upon what you know, do most people in fact work in environments that are non-permissive where they can't in fact have a firearm? Is that pretty much the norm now?
It depends on what you're talking about. Are you talking about teachers? Are you talking about small business owners? Are you talking about corporate world? Are you talking about state, local, federal, county jobs? Yeah, I think it just kind of depends on who you're talking to and where they work. By and large, it's not permitted. I don't know if it's not that it's illegal,
Right.
but it not permitted. So they have to maybe come up with something else. Maybe maybe they're more comfortable talking about the firearms for personal defense in their home or of a concealed carry nature, maybe other than through work. So then they have to come up with some other type of personal defense plan for their work environment. And these are the things, I mean, these are real conversations that I have all the time with people. And you know what the first thing they say is? They say, the people in the gun industry don't understand this. And they get so mad and they say, you know what? Thank you. Thank you for admitting that there are other things out there other than a gun that can keep me safe. And everybody else understands that. But if you make your living doing gun training and gun training only, maybe that's why you don't admit it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
And I think that because I hear the same thing from people who only do martial arts, that
Oh, yeah.
A lot of them feel that martial arts are the only thing you need. And
Yeah.
and one of the things that, and we talk about this here is sort of a well-rounded approach to personal defense, which is why we have videos from everything from not just defensive shooting, but on down the line through all kinds of stuff, because it really is a matter of being well-rounded.
Well, listen, here, people don't live here. They don't live here and they don't live here. People
Right.
live somewhere in between. And if they want to start asking questions here and then deciding, well, maybe I'm more attuned to this area or maybe over here, well, then that's fine. But, for you and me and the other instructors about this and work with this and instruct in this all the time, sometimes we can get in our own way when we're trying to relate to other people. And I'm here to tell you, I'm building my program. It took me, can I tell you something? I just want to be honest with you guys real quick. It took me 4.5 years to realize who I am in the training industry and who I'm not. And who I'm not is just as important as who I know I am and what I know I can do. And once I realized that, and once I realized who my market was, which is the underserved market out there, I realized they can relate to me just as well. And they need that, because really in the personal defense world, not right now, there's not a whole lot of people that average everyday people can relate to. If you really think about it.
We had this discussion just in terms of in fact, you and I think were involved in this discussion on social media about the idea of simply how to conceal a handgun, right? When you work in a professional non-permissive environment. And I sometimes find it amazing, and maybe you do too, the number of people who sort of live their lives maybe on the shooting range or in a very casual environment where it's very easy to carry a firearm. And then you get that person who works in that professional non-permissive environment who can't, and it's like there's this gulf between the guys over here, the shooting guys over here, who don't understand why you can't carry a full-size gun with an untucked polo shirt, and these guys over here who work in this environment where that just ain't gonna happen.
Right. And you know what that does? It creates a divide. There are so many good instructors out there that take that stance, even though it's not, in my opinion, not the appropriate stance. They can be fantastic instructors, but you know what? They're never going to talk to the people that don't relate to them and that turn them off and shut off any additional information that they give because they can't relate. And they say, you know what? I don't do that. I don't dress like that. And if that's their stance, if that's their hard stance on it, that's how you have to do it, or if you don't do it that way, well, then you're just not serious about your training. They're not going to get any additional help or any additional classes taken by that particular sect of people. They're not going there.
Gotcha.
And that's the underserved group. People don't want to be talked down to. People want to be understood.
So, unfortunately, we have to wrap this up because we're out of time. So, Julie, tell everybody how they can get in touch with you, where they can find you, and all that kind of stuff.
Okay, great. I have a Facebook page, Mid-Ohio IMB. I am on WordPress, julieloeffler.wordpress.com. I have a nice blog called The Trigger Press, and we cover all kinds of subjects there, from books we like, gear we like, training tips, concealability, holsters, that kind of thing. I have a website, midohioimb.com. And here in the near future, within the next few weeks, you'll be seeing a lot more video blogging from me, 2 to 3 minute segments on beginner topics on how to get into and what to look for in the personal defense world.
Cool.
So I'm pretty excited about that.
Cool. All right, Julie, thanks a lot. We'll see you again.
Thank you.
And stay safe and keep helping other people stay safe.
Thanks, you too, Grant.
Bye. All right.
Bye.
So we haven't done much in terms of viewer email in the last few shows, and it feels like it's been forever since I've done some viewer email. So we'll talk just a little bit here about a couple of emails. And I'm sitting here rotating through my screens, and I thought that I had actually prepped these things, and now I can't find them. I do remember the topics, so okay, I can't find them, but again, this is what happens when you do this live. There were 2 specific topics that there were a couple of emails, and unfortunately, I'm not going to remember the names of the people who sent them. I apologize for that. But one of them came in and said that I had mentioned the concept of pistol caliber carbines on the show, and I don't remember which episode that I had mentioned that. I am a fan of the pistol caliber carbine, so I probably mentioned it at some point. But the viewer said that they had heard me talk about pistol caliber carbines and wondered what I was talking about. Apparently, I didn't explain it. Okay, a pistol caliber carbine is a relatively short, light rifle that fires a cartridge that we usually think of or is usually used in a handgun. So a pistol caliber carbine, for instance, would shoot 9mm pistol ammunition, or 45 caliber pistol ammunition, or 38 special revolver ammunition. And as I said, they're generally very short, down to the minimum length that the government requires, and they are generally light, much lighter than a typical rifle. And the reason that they exist is because, well, first of all, they're very easy to shoot. They're much easier to shoot than the handgun that takes the same ammunition. They have very little recoil, virtually no recoil. They have very little muzzle blast, and those two really do go together because of the fact that they have 4 points of contact with the body, which is the shoulder, the cheek, as you're holding the rifle like this, the shoulder, the cheek, the shooting hand, and then the support hand, which is like out here. The support hand, you have 4 points of contact, which makes for a much more stable shooting platform. And because of that, the pistol caliber carbine is easier to shoot at any distance or to any degree of precision. The other thing about the pistol caliber carbine is that they tend to be easier for people to shoot over a wide range of shooting abilities. So if you've got somebody, say, in the household who isn't as good a shooter as you are, or isn't as experienced a shooter as you are, they'll generally be able to shoot the pistol caliber carbine easier than they will, certainly easier than handgun, but even easier than a rifle or a shotgun. And it's usually at this point that the tactical hobbyists jump in and say, but the pistol caliber carbine isn't as powerful as a rifle or a shotgun. Yeah, that's true. But guess what? It's powerful enough to do the job, and it's a whole lot easier to shoot. It isn't as intimidating. And one of the real benefits is that you can shoot it on just about any range, even indoor ranges where they typically ban rifles, because they shoot pistol ammunition and they're very quiet and very easy to control. So that's the sort of the long and short about pistol caliber carbines, and it sort of explains a little bit why I'm such a fan of them as home defense tools, particularly as a pool weapon. In other words, like a car pool, a pool weapon that might be operated by a wide variety of people in the household, ranging from somebody who's really, really good shooter to somebody who's really brand new and doesn't go out and shoot and practice a lot. I think they're a very viable option for home defense, and I'm generally a big fan. The only problem with the pistol caliber carbine really is the fact that there aren't a lot of them on the market. There used to be, and the interest in the pistol caliber carbine kind of died out for a few years, and they're starting kind of a resurgence, but there's still a lack of examples in the affordable range, like say $500 and under. There are a lot of them in the $700, $800, $900 range, but in that $500 and under range, there aren't a lot of them, but they are out there. So if the pistol caliber carbine sounds like it might be an alternative for you as a home defense weapon, go to your local gun store and check some of those out. And like you said, they're wonderful, they're fun to shoot, and they are effective as a home defense tool. So that's the pistol caliber carbine. I also had a question from someone who asked about how to harden a door. And apparently in one of the episodes, I talked about making it more difficult for people to get into your house as a first line of defense. If we can keep people out, we're a lot safer than if they can get in to harm us. And one of the things that we talk about, for instance, in defense outside of the home, we talk about avoiding conflict and de-escalate and all that sort of thing. The equivalent inside the home is keeping people from getting in the first place. And somebody asked me how to reinforce a door, basically, to make it harder for somebody to kick the door in and get in and surprise them. And as I recall, the person lived alone with their children. There are a number of ways. Of course, most people will tell you deadbolts. Deadbolts are a great thing, but even with a deadbolt and even with a properly installed deadbolt, a door can be kicked open, and police and EMS services knock down doors all the time. So how do we keep people from kicking the door in? Well, there are door reinforcement products out there, and I'm a big fan of these things. And what they do is they take that little tiny strike plate. The strike plate is the thing that is on the door jamb itself, and that's where the bolt from the lock set or the bolt from the deadbolt goes in. It's that little metal piece. Well, the trouble is that the little metal piece is maybe this big, and it's got screws that are maybe that far apart, and there are only two of them, maybe three if there's one in the center. And so if somebody tries to get the door open, all of the force of the kick is on this very small area, and it's very easy to actually break that out, even properly installed, even with the long screws that are typically recommended. What the strike plates do is enlarge this area to something like, well, my camera doesn't even go that wide, but something around 2.5, maybe 3 feet long, with multiple screws all through that. So it distributes that force that's being applied to door over a very, very wide area and makes it much more difficult to break through. I'm a big fan of these things. I've seen people try to break doors down, then I've seen the results of people trying to kick doors in that had these extended strike plates on them. They really do work. Combined with a good deadbolt, of course, you can't just put this on with a cheap lock set. You do need a good deadbolt to go along with it. But they do work, and it's the first thing I do. The first thing I recommend to everybody is to reinforce the door frame so that it can't be kicked in. These things are widely available. They're available on Amazon. They're available at the big box stores. My favorite, and the one that I've installed on a number of different houses now for friends and family, is called the Strike Master 2. And if you just Google Strike Master 2, you'll find it. That's my favorite. I don't make any money from them. They don't give me any money. They don't sponsor me. They don't do anything. It's just a product that I've used and found to be very workable and very easy to install. The reason I like it is because it is probably the least obtrusive of all the ones that I've tried. It hides under molding. It's very difficult to tell that it's even there. They're easy to install if you're at all handy with tools. It's very easy to install. If you're not handy with tools, but you know someone who is, it's probably a 10 or 15 minute job total if it's your first time. For me, I can put one in about 5 minutes now. You will need an electric, like a battery screwdriver, the drill driver things, because you do have to drive some very, very long screws and a whole bunch of them into the frame. So this is not something you're going to do with a screwdriver unless you're Arnold Schwarzenegger in his prime. So you do need a little bit of a tool set to do that, but beyond that, they're very easy to install, and they do harden the door rather substantially. Like I said, you do need a good deadbolt to go along with it, and you want a deadbolt with a long throw on it. But once that's done, once those two things are put together, great way to keep somebody from kicking your door in. And if you have multiple doors, if you've got a basement door and a front door and maybe a side door, put a strike plate on each of them, and just buy as many as you need. Take an afternoon, put them all in, and you'll sleep a little sounder that way. Like I said, I've seen people try to knock doors in with these things installed, and believe me, it's very tough to do. So that's my recommendation. I hope that that answered that question for the viewer. And like I said, I wish I could find the email and credit them, but I messed up. So thank you for tuning in tonight. Our next show is, of course, going to be the first Thursday of the month, first Thursday of November, which is November 3rd. And our shows are always the first and third Thursdays of each month at 6 p.m. Pacific time. The next show, as I said, is Thursday, November 3rd, the Thursday before the big election that's coming up. You may have heard that we've got an election coming up. So it's the Thursday before. Just take some time out that day, decompress from all of the election stuff that's going to be happening, and join me for that show. And as usual, I'll have a special guest on that show. We'll talk more about that later. Don't forget about the free sign up for the Personal Defense Network newsletter. There's a link on the show page that if you're watching this on Personal Defense Network, there's a link down there. Just click on it and sign up for the free defense newsletter. Don't forget premium membership for only $10 if you use the code GRANT10, G-R-A-N-T, the number 1, the number 0, all one word, when you check out for the premium membership, the great premium membership here at Personal Defense Network. You can always reach me at grant@grantcunningham.com. Please send me your emails. I enjoy getting them. I enjoy hearing that you like the show. I enjoy getting your questions. I answer as many of them as I can off air, and then occasionally I'll pick a couple and talk about them on air as well, if they're, I think, of general interest to people. And we will see you then the next show, which is Thursday, November 3rd. Let me try that again. Thursday, November 3rd, which is the first Thursday of November. We'll see you then for another great episode of Training Talk right here on Personal Defense Network. I'm Grant Cunningham, and good night.